I was scared to start a GLP-1 and scared of what someone might think of me, scared of what the side effects might be. But also, I realized I really was just like scared of what I thought of myself. But it turned out to be good and it turned out to be the best thing ever. I'm never getting off of it.
Would you like to learn more about the topics that were discussed today? Join us at radicallyhealthy.com, where we're combining lifestyle with other tools to add to our toolbox. We have many offerings from a free community to a private community and even one on one support. Hope to see you there. All right, everyone, welcome to today's show. I'm so excited about this. I've actually been trying to arrange this for what feels like a year. This is one of my favorite content creators. She gave me so much hope, so much motivation, feeling like I wasn't alone along my journey. Today we have, do we call you Ebony or
Yeah,
Bianca?
just call me either one works.
Ebony.
Bianca's my middle name. Yeah.
We have Ebony, and her
Yeah.
channel is Becoming Bianca, correct?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we're going to talk about where that came from. But thank you so much for coming on. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. This is exciting. This is one of my first that I've ever done. So, I might be a little giggly and goofy because I get a little nervous.
It's going to be great. You have such a great YouTube channel, and what's always attracted me to your channel was that everything isn't perfect, but you're working on the stuff we should be working on.
Yeah.
And you share the truth that sometimes you make it and sometimes you don't. So we'll go into that. So first of
Yes.
all, what attracted me to your channel is you have a channel sharing your GLP-1 journey. So are you
Mhm.
on a GLP-1 today?
I am, and actually, I just took a dose yesterday, which was the first one since I think end of September. So it had been like 2 or 3 weeks.
That's another thing I appreciate is the reality of getting the medication, being able to afford the medication, staying on it consistently. And so I'd love your tips and stuff on that in a second here. But first,
Hmm.
could you tell us before you ever started a GLP-1, did you struggle with your weight? For how long? A little
Hmm.
background about you. Did you ever
Yeah.
try other things? And you just talk as long as you want and tell us about you.
Oh yeah. Man, I feel like I've been trying to lose weight my whole life, but honestly, I wish I could be as like overweight as I was in my 20s because that's kind of my goal weight now. Looking back, yeah, I think it was less about wanting to lose weight and more of needing to work on myself to get a positive self-image and positive self-talk. So, realistically though, from a health perspective, I've needed to drop weight since after having kids. Um, so with my first, I have two kids. Um, my first child, I got up to 225, and for reference, I'm 5'5". But that was while I was pregnant. But even after having him, I still was like 220. You like give birth to an 8-pound baby, but you've only lost 3 pounds. Like it doesn't make sense. But um, s- it took a very long time to see and understand that so much of my struggles was rooted in eating for reasons other than being hungry. But it was like twofold, like eating when you're sad and stressed or you're just trying to fill yourself up emotionally. But then I do remember being as young as 10, I wasn't necessarily overweight, but I remember being able to eat beyond discomfort and still being like, I could eat more, but I don't want anyone to see like the amount that I can consume. Um, so that's kind of just been, I feel like my whole life. I'm trying to think if there's ever a time where I was like, oh yeah, I feel good. I'm happy with where I'm at. And it was probably, I want to say it was after my first kid, but before my second. And I don't know if you remember, bodybuilding.com used to be free. I don't
No, I
know
don't
if you're
remember that.
familiar with bodybuilding.com. So there's a trainer called Jamie Eason, and she had a program on there where you printed off the meal plan, you printed off the recipes, and you printed off your workout split, and you could just like hole punch it and put it in a binder. So this would have been like 2012,
When we
2012,
were printing
2013.
things.
Yeah, printing stuff. Um, and I did that program, and I think I got down to 160. Like I had went up to 180, got down to 160, but I was seeing definition in my muscles. So, I didn't have a DEXA scan back then. Back then it was when you would go into the gym and they would either use calipers or they would put you on the machine, the impedance machine, to check your body fat percentage, and I think I was like 30% or maybe, a little bit less than that, but not much. So I was pretty happy at that point. But, when you eat emotionally, anything can throw you off and then you're just right back to where you were, feeling bad about yourself, maybe even if you shouldn't feel bad because you're healthy and you look great. But, that's the probably one of the bigger struggles of emotional eating versus sometimes I wish I had been the person that was just super into soda pop and then like, you cut the soda pop and you're just dropping weight like crazy. So, this whole GLP-1 thing, which before I started it, I was like, you know what? I was scared to start a GLP-1 and scared of what someone might think of me, scared of what the side effects might be. But also, I realized I really was just like scared of what I thought of myself. Um, but it turned out to be good and it turned out to be the best thing ever. And I'm never getting off of it. And it's very hard to go from a very dogmatic view of diet. Like Atkins was all the rage, low carb. And then it was, it's like Dr. Berg, you want to do intermittent fasting and low carb so you're not spiking your insulin. And then it was like, well, maybe I should be a vegan because that just seems like so wholesome or the thing to do. Like if you were vegan and you did CrossFit, that was like the ultimate combination, seems like, in my area. So there was just all these, in retrospect, dogmatic ways of looking at health and fitness. And I think it's because each of those things had a community, a vegan community, a CrossFit community, the Atkins low carb, high fat community. And so I think what is attractive, it's like, oh, it's like a thing. You're like in this bubble or this circle, and you have these people that are doing the same thing, and you can be like, oh, I'm vegan. Oh, I do low carb, and it becomes your identity. Whereas there's just like something missing because one thing I noticed, and this is not criticism, but I've always wanted to be doing something that was like a thing, but I wanted the proof of health to be there too. And one thing I noticed about people who were on low carb, high fat, for example, a very long time, and they're on it a long time because it's their YouTube channel and they're talking about it, hair was very dull and thin, and the glow to the skin was not there. Maybe it looked dry. I hope I'm not offending anyone like this, but it was just like, I don't know. Are we doing this right? Because you're missing key nutrients, or if you're eating a ball of butter, I'm maybe, but I don't know about every single day. So there's just the balance wasn't there. And so that's something that just like kind of always sticks in the back of your head. And it's just like, I don't know what to do. Can't stop eating. But at the same time, these ways of losing weight seem to work, at least initially. And so that has led me well into let's see, I started this May last year. So I was 41. I was 41. And it's like every year, a new year comes and I'm on the phone with my sister and we're like, yeah, this time we're going to do it. Okay. What program are you going to do? Okay. This is what I'm going to do. And so there's that excitement initially, but then it's like, how does that fit in your everyday life? And am I really going to be talking about losing weight until, you know, I die? It's like, I don't know. I want to just live. Of course, this might be something that I'll have to just always deal with, but maybe just not on such a scale. And it was last year or the year before I think it was on Pinterest, one of those inspirational quotes, and it said, or maybe it was a girl, I don't remember where it was, but the gist of the idea was, what if this time was the last time, whatever it is that you're trying to do? I think it was in reference to losing weight or getting healthy. Or what if this time you didn't quit? And I was like, I can't imagine because it consumed so much of my choices and overthinking what I was going to eat that it would be so nice to just be done for the most part. And so that's what a GLP-1 did for me because I tried carnivore, Atkins. I don't recall specifically trying to be vegan because once I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, my naturopath was like, you cannot have Hashimoto's and be vegan. You have to have your grass-fed butter and your meat and all that. Um, I'm trying to remember what else I tried because I did a video on it on my YouTube channel of all the different things I've tried. but now I'm kinda drawing a blank. So, I have been essentially maintaining for a year, come to think of it. A year went by so fast because I started in May of last year, got into the 160s by October, November. Um, so January of this year, I feel like I'm all over the place, so feel free to
You're doing
redirect.
great.
Okay. So January of this year, I got as low as 161, but I went a 6-month span of not having a DEXA scan. So I don't know what my composition was at the time. I feel like it probably wasn't that great, even though I was essentially, thank you. My son just brought me a donut. So we'll just leave that
Is it
right
made
there.
out of eggs? No, I'm just kidding.
No, right? Donut. He's so sweet. He's like my little his love language is giving things. So um
Can
so
I
yeah, I
that
got
can
his
I pop in for a second?
yeah.
You said something that just made me want to cry. And this is something I've been struggling with for a few months, I think, which is that I was a carnivore for 2.5 years strict. No sweeteners, very little dairy. And I just
Wow.
every day would go at it. That's primarily what my channel on YouTube and Instagram was about, was my ups and downs of that. And it is just starting to sink in now that I did identify and I did get the best community in the whole wide world. And
Mhm.
now I'm like, I eat normal. And I'm having a little identity
Mm.
crisis. I'm wondering if people are
Mhm.
still going to be my friend. You
Wow.
know,
Mhm.
and then another thing you brought up was some people have messaged me and said that they see the glow coming back and that I didn't look
Mm.
this healthy on carnivore. And I didn't. I was having
Mhm.
inflammation swings like crazy. My
Wow.
thyroid was really low. My sex hormones were really low. My sleep was horrible. And I'm a lot of those things are way better today. And my nails and
Wow.
and my hair feel good.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
wondering if prior where when you were on a diet, you really had to watch certain foods if they would
Mhm.
cause you any issues and if they
Mhm.
don't anymore.
Um, so let's see. I had a health crisis after after my first miscarriage. So, do you have to put trigger warnings for this type of stuff?
I don't know. Unless you
I don't
say
know. I feel like
ED, don't say ED. Eating,
okay.
don't say that. But other than
No,
that, it sounds
I
fine.
won't say that, but I understand how traumatic it is, and I don't know if, that might trigger another woman who's maybe been through multiple. Um, so it was 2014, and after this miscarriage, I did not get the greatest health care. I feel like the healthcare system completely failed me. So, long story short, I was having some issues with my skin. It was very gruesome. I don't want to go into detail without, like, I feel like I need people's consent where they're like, yeah, please tell me. It was pretty gruesome. And they put me on an antibiotic, and my body just turned black from here down. And I was just like wet. I remember putting paper towels underneath my shirt, around my abdomen, and that just spin me into years of what they were calling, "Oh, it's eczema." And then I got pregnant with my second baby, who came out perfectly healthy, thank goodness. But during that pregnancy, I was taking Benadryl just to survive. And you're just like, it's over the counter. It seems like one of the more benign medications, but um it was everything I could do to not just, like, scratch myself to death. It was like a deep bone, like an itch like you have just never imagined, and that was, like, my whole pregnancy, and he came out perfectly healthy and fine. It was awesome. Ended up being the fat baby I always wanted, and yeah, so he's fine, and it speaks to the miracle of pregnancy where I remember I was just miserable and like, it was excruciating pain to take a shower and like my skin would dry in a certain area and my husband like would have to get me out of bed and put me in the shower just to loosen my skin up so I could get through the day. And I just was like one day just completely distraught and he's like, "I don't think you can grow a baby and heal at the same time." And I know it sounds so simple, but in the moment it was the most profound thing I ever heard and I was like, "Okay, immediately I was just like, "Well, of course, yes, I want my baby to just be fine. I don't care what suffering I have to go through because I can address that later." The point is during that time, and mind you, my skin is just, like, falling off of me. It's not funny. It was I don't know. I'm so glad I'm beyond it now because I don't think about it that much, but during that time was the worst. The point I'm trying to make is, again, the medical community failed me, and I had had thyroid antibodies, um, and I remember sitting in this endocrinologist's office, and I'm pregnant. I'm trying to grow a healthy baby. My sister's there with me to help advocate for me, and he's just like, "Everyone's vitamin D is low. We live in Washington." It's like, "Yeah, everyone has some thyroid antibodies come back when they're, like, over 1,000 or something like that," and I'm just like, "What?" And you're in such a vulnerable state. As a mother, when you're pregnant, you can either be mama bear when you have the energy, or sometimes it's just like you're so defeated because who's in your corner to really like go to bat for you, and so you just kind of accept things. So at that time, my thyroid antibodies were 200. So after I have my second son, and he's like a year or two old, and this is just like this eczema here is just black. It won't go away. I'm avoiding nuts and a dairy and all my usual triggers because I'd had an allergy test done. And I remember finding this um, nature path that I didn't have access to because of insurance before. So I would have had to pay out of pocket. And I'm sure a lot of people can identify with just like muscling through it and suffering in silence because, like, you just don't have the access. You don't have the insurance coverage. And it's like, where am I supposed to get this money from? But I finally had access to her, and I had found her in an old email that the naturopath who had said I had antibodies, he was doing really good for me. I counted all over the place. He had like retired midway through my pregnancy. I was making progress. He was explaining my thyroid. He put me on high dose vitamin D. He was doing all these things, and I was like, "Oh, I'm making some progress." But he retired, and so I did what I could throughout the pregnancy with my youngest. Had him, then, was avoiding all my triggers, not losing weight, miserable. My skin was a mess. And I found her again and was like, okay, I'm going to her now because I couldn't before. She took over an hour with me before she suggested some things. She thought that the first miscarriage I had, that there was just like an underlying infection the whole time from not getting proper care that I should have. It's so funny. I wasn't expecting to talk about all this, but I feel like it plays a role in my story. This is not even
This is our
something that
cup of tea, and this is
I
the exact thing that people come to my channel for because I too got horrible healthcare when I went in with the thyroid antibodies. They told me to just come back when the thyroid was gone, but they didn't have any solution for it. My
yeah,
chronic fatigue, my autoimmune,
mhm,
I've got skin
mhm,
conditions. You're
yeah,
speaking our language. Keep going.
yeah, I know this is crazy because this is very vulnerable for me, but at least I can talk about it now without
I
crying. I
lost one
didn't
at
used to be.
19 weeks. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry that that happened to you, and I wish that this was uncommon, but I can't tell you how many people have reached out and said, "I lost one too. I lost one too." And I don't think our grandparents were losing them like we are. They would just go near each other and they would get pregnant. Nowadays, you have to be near each other 100 times to finally get it in there, and something's going on.
I think we just have a low level stress that we've become so accustomed to that we don't even understand. The loss of community, which I can
Mhm.
talk about.
The loss of
So
family. Our families are all spread out or busy
oh yeah.
working and tired.
I I I know. Oh, that's such an emotional subject for me because last year I took my mom down to Mississippi, where she was born and raised, to go to her brother's funeral. My uncle had passed, and I'm on her old street that I'd been to a few times as a kid, and it's completely different. It's a small town Mississippi, the type where they built a better, nicer highway, but instead of it going through the town like it used to, it goes around the town. So it's just not the same as when she grew up. So it was sad for her, but it was something for me where it's like a whole different way of life that I came back sad because over something that my kids and I have never been able to experience. She was like, "Oh, my great grandma lived there. This is we're standing in the middle of the street," and she's pointing. This is how close everybody was. We're standing like by her childhood home that her dad built. well, the foundation now. The home's not there anymore. And she's like, my grandma was there, my great grandma was there, then Uncle so and so was here. And it's just imagine you walk out your front door and your kids are just running free because they're going to grandma's house or they're going to auntie's house. And not that things were perfect, but there's just something to be said about having people around you. Um, and so now we live such isolated lives and we're, trying to be famous on social media to make an extra buck. And it's just, I don't know, it's a way of life
A
I think that we
weird world
gotta
we live in that we're
it's
finding
super
community
weird.
online instead of in real life.
Yeah,
I have found amazing community online, and
yeah, I know.
but
I
they're not
mean,
here to help me babysit, even though they send me messages every day saying, "I wish I was there."
trust me, I know,
Like
and
we're on our own, and so it's like the
mhm,
stress, like you said, of this is a different world. This is
it is, and I think it goes contrary to nature because we're all craving something that many of us ha actually not even experienced. So I think it's something that's innate in us, but so going back to, girl, I feel
the
like I could
nature
talk to you
path.
about so much. Yeah, so the nature path.
No, I feel like I know you because I've seen all your videos.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the support. That feedback was awesome too. I was like thinking this morning, I said, has it seriously been a month since I posted anything? It's like on the one hand, I feel like, I don't have anything to offer. But then on the other hand, I'm like,
You
maybe I
do.
might say them because I haven't posted. I haven't lost weight. If anything, I've gained weight. That could be your cliffhanger that you posted in the beginning. Because, okay, so the nature path, s this was the thing where I was like, "Oh, the regular American healthcare system is the worst. They will send you to the pharmacy before they send you to the lab. Why? That doesn't make any sense. How can you prescribe something" oh, I'm getting passionate because it makes me so angry. How can you prescribe something and you don't even know maybe what the person's blood type is? Like, can they even handle this? So, thankfully, that was one thing that I think I must have insisted on over the years, 'cause I have lots of history of my lab work. So she sent me to the lab, and I was a little scared because she did so many labs, but thanks to insurance, this probably $1,500 to $2,000 worth of labs, I think I just had a copay, maybe 10% of the bill. It comes back, Adrian, my thyroid antibodies, the TPOAB, not the so it was the thyroglobulin. No, no, no. The thyroid peroxidase antibodies were 1,400. They went from 200 to 1,400. And she's just like, okay, well, you definitely have Hashimoto's. Your body is attacking your thyroid. And I'm just like, okay, so I had a whole endocrinologist look at me while I'm pregnant and tell me it's basically no big deal or come back later. So now I do have to take thyroid medication. And I'm still taking thyroid medication to this day, and all that happened back in 2017. Yeah, so there you go. I was 2015 pregnant, that naturopath retired, the the HMO endocrinologist looked at me and said that, and then it wasn't until 2017 September that I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So who knows how long I actually have Hashimoto's, which is and it's terrifying because you do research and it's like your thyroid controls whether or not you can keep a baby. So your skin, your mental health. Like, this is the most underrated organ in the, I'm assuming, American medical system. I don't know about overseas, but so once I got on the right medication. So the thing is, there's not a lot of options. They have like dissected pig thyroid or something. I don't even know if they still use that. But usually what they give is, I think, levothyroxine, which is the combination T4, T3. And
It's just
so,
T4.
oh, it's just T4. So if you have a conversion problem, you cannot take that T4 and put it into the active T3. So I remember trying that, and I must have had what's called a Hashimoto's flare. The thing about Hashimoto's is the symptoms are so hard to describe. It's like, "Oh, well, I'm tired." It's like, "Yeah, well, everyone's tired." It's like, "No, this is a holding the handrail to get upstairs tired and your muscles are burning and you just feel like you weigh at 1,000 pounds and you can't lift your own body weight." So clearly I had a conversion problem and I'd only tried that T4, T3 combo. Um, I wanna say, like, in 2019. So 2017 to 2019, I took active T3, and I'll never forget when that naturopath, so Janine Kraus, if anyone wants to look her up, Janine Kraus, she has a podcast on Apple Podcasts. She has a website. She, I think now is a cash pay, and she will do virtual visits. So Janine Kraus, um, just I just give her so much credit because she comes in with a scientific lens, and sends you to the lab and asks you so many questions before anything. So anyway, she put me on active T3. I will never forget my first dose. I took it, and within 30 minutes to an hour, it was like a wilted flower that had been given water and fertilizer. I was like, "Kids, you wanna drive to Seattle and see daddy at work?" And we hopped in the car at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, drive to Seattle. I was like, "Woohoo, hey, hey." How are you?"
Yes.
I have suffered unnecessarily, like, just I could not believe that this $8 a month copay, um, off-brand thyroid medication gave me my life back. And then this all started to go away, the eczema that always was, like, right here. So, that's what I
Wow.
take now, and I'm a lot higher dose than back in 2017, but considering when I asked her, because I asked my doctor, you know, "Where am I in this dose? Like, is this super high? Should I really just try to, like, maybe get my dose down?" She was like, "No, I have people that are taking, like, 50 milligrams or 100 milligrams." I was like, "Okay, so I guess I'm okay." I said, "But how about my antibodies? Like, have you seen this before?" She was like, "Those are pretty high." So they continue to be in the thousands, unfortunately. Only one time was I able to, I think I got the antibodies down to 600, but I don't know. I guess unless I had a cook, a grocery shopper, and like a zero stress life, would I be able to get rid of the antibodies? Because, I've kind of just accepted that this is
Have you
the
have
way.
you seen if there's any difference after the GLP-1, or is it pretty much the same? Does the
I
GLP-1
thought the
affected it?
same. Yes. So get this. So there was a study on National Institutes of Health where I think it was in India. There was a group of people who had really high thyroid antibodies. And what they did is for 6 weeks straight, they gave them a very high dose injection of vitamin D, and it dropped their antibodies in half in the course of, I think, like 6 weeks. And so I went to this med spa here who gave vitamin D injections because, sidebar, I had a Harvard trained dermatologist tell me that I need 400 IU vitamin D. 400 IU for being a Black woman in Washington State. That's like the daily
I
value that
was
you see
told
of.
10,000.
Right, she told me 400 IU. I'm just saying that, maybe I'm being a little catty, but just to show you the stark contrast between the information that people are getting from a Harvard-trained dermatologist. I was just like, "Okay, I'm always gonna be respectful," but, like, you walk out and you're just like, "Yeah, whatever, I'm not doing that." So, that was years ago when I was still pregnant. So, anyway, I got the high dose of vitamin D. Silly me, forgot to do the follow-up thyroid antibodies, lab. So, um, that was probably 2021, 2022. So fast forward to last year, I got my thyroid antibody panel done. And then after, I want to say 1 to 2 months, I need to look back at my records. I apologize for not being more precise. I got my thyroid antibody panel done. This is after being on GLP-1 and no alcohol. And then when you first started GLP-1, you, uh-oh, I think I lost her.
Sorry.
Oh, you're
One
fine.
sec. Okay. Okay.
Where did I leave off?
The the high dose vitamin D, and you didn't have the antibodies checked.
Yeah. So then that was like 2021, 2022. Fast forward to 2024. So last late summer, fall, had them checked and they were in the high thousand something. I want to say like 1800. But being on the GLP-1, I was not, when you first started GLP-1, it's not so much now, but in the beginning, I was not craving the things that I supposedly was supposed to stay away from in order to heal my thyroid. So that's dairy, alcohol, sugar, and wheat products. very hard for me. I love cheese. It's easier for me to say no to bread, but I love cheese. So I was staying away from those pretty easily because the GLP-1 was, new in my system and I'm like just not really wanting anything. I got a follow-up one. My antibodies went down by 20%. By 20%. So I haven't researched it enough and I don't want anyone to take this and run with it, but research really just what foods you could stay away from to help your thyroid. And so I think what it is the GLP-1, if you're not craving and you can easily say no to the things you're supposed to avoid. I mean, we all know that's the key to healing a lot of things. So I think the lack of desire um, just made it that much easier.
So I just really quick want to grab something
Hmm.
because I know it's right here because I just saw it. Oops. Oh, my things came up. If anybody out there wants to give something a try, I'm not claiming this is going to be perfect for you or anything,
Hmm.
but you can get this. It's standard process
Thyrotrophin. Never heard of
thyroprine
that. Let me see.
PMG. I take one in the morning and
Okay.
I take one in the afternoon. So or in the evening, and you're supposed to be on an empty stomach. So I'll take
Okay.
like my thyroid medicine, I'll wait a little bit, and then I'll take
Yeah.
this. And it slowly over a year or two brought my antibodies down slowly.
Oh man, that would be
And this
awesome.
was the only thing that I had really changed. And so I'm believing that it was a helper for me. And I,
Hmm.
again, not promising anybody out there, but this is what
Yeah.
my functional
Okay.
doctor had me do to help bring some stuff down. So
Okay. I'm
just
going
a
to,
little side note for people that I think we can get this right on Amazon, but if not,
yeah, I
you
see it
can,
here. I will
yeah.
look this up after our call.
Every time you buy something on Amazon, try to buy it from the actual company. So try to buy it
Okay.
from standard process on Amazon if possible,
Okay.
because
Never
otherwise
heard
it
of
could be
that.
coming from somebody's basement.
Right. I know. Yeah, it can. It can.
So you add the GLP-1,
Mhm.
and when you came into it, how did you decide your dose?
I went with okay, so I started at a Medi Spa and they it was like 350 for 4 syringes starting out. So yeah, and they're
So
pre-filled.
expensive.
I know. And it all started because um it's so funny. So this was like early 2024, so April or May, and my husband's like, it doesn't have to be forever. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Cause it's I guess I fall into the dogmatic type stuff because I think dogmatically. I'm like, oh, why do I feel like I'm committing to this for the rest of my life? I could try it one time and be like, oh, it doesn't work for me. It's okay to change your mind. Um, and I was like, oh, okay. So and but the price just I was just like, I'm not even the type of person that would go and spend that type of money in one day going shopping. Like I don't know what about spending money. It just like, made my skin tingle and I
Especially
said,
in
"You want to
today's
try it?"
world.
I know, I want to try it. And he's like, "Okay." So he was on board and I told myself, "You know what? I'm on this journey of doing better for myself and thinking more highly of myself, not so negative. So I'm just going to spend the money. The money's going to come back. And if this is a catalyst to so many other blessings that I ended up happening, then it's going to be okay." So anyway, it was 4 syringes, 2.5 milligrams, and then three at 5 milligrams.
Oh,
So the two
wow,
and a
they
half,
bumped you up to 5 week 2?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Ooh,
didn't know. And you know what's so funny, Adrian,
at
is
least you were
usually,
getting plenty for your money
oh, well, yeah, because they usually put people on 2.5 to start.
for a
Well,
whole month.
the joke in my family is I have guts of steel. Like I can just eat anything, and maybe my husband will be like, "Oh God, I have a stomach ache," and I'm like, "What? I don't feel nothing." Like my stomach doesn't even grumble. It's just I can eat stuff and not get a stomach ache and whatnot. So the 2.5 didn't do anything for me. I didn't feel anything. The 5 milligrams, I felt it. Um, and TMI, but I've been a constipated type person for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. Man, everyone that was like, "Oh, be careful because this side effect and that side effect," the side effects ended up being my blessing because I was like, "This is the greatest I've ever felt. I'm so
Has it
cleared
just
out."
cleared you out? That was
Yeah.
carnivore for me. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
So,
cleared you out. That's great. Hey,
yeah, and I
you
was
know
able to
that
make
constipation can be related to the thyroid not working. Your thyroid being in the tank slows gut motility.
I wouldn't be surprised if I had thyroid issues since I was a kid because I had horrible eczema starting at age 2, um, and just using cortisone. I don't know if that affects the thyroid, but hydrocortisone on the skin, because I had it as a kid, it was like here, all the joints, back of the knees, inside of the elbows, the neck, and here. Since and that
Mhm.
it was bad up until at least 12 or 13, and then it went away, and then it didn't come back till in my 20s sometimes if I was super stressed out or eating, stuff I shouldn't be eating. Um, so who knows if the medications I was using or what, maybe too low of vitamin D. I mean, they say with thyroid, a lot of it is what, stress levels, I think.
It does say that steroids can suppress your thyroid.
Yeah, and to have eczema right here on my neck and constantly hydrocortisone right here, right where my thyroid is at since I was a kid.
And it
So who
affects your adrenal thyroid balance.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So interesting. But it doesn't mean that the steroids caused the issue, but maybe
mhm.
it exacerbated it.
Yeah, and there's so much science coming out now too because my dad grew up with eczema and then his mom had skin issues too. But then there's so much science coming out about the effect of stress on the body and what's passed on down generation to generation, from um, I lost the word, like when your DNA
Epigenetically,
mutations. Yeah,
genetic
epigenetically. Right.
mutations. Yep.
Right. Genetic
It's
mutations due to stress too.
it's so interesting that you have a gut of steel. You could eat anything without food
Yeah.
reactions, but your food reaction can be your skin. They say what's
Mhm.
on the skin is what your gut looks like.
I would not be surprised. Um, well, years ago, like in the early 2000s, I'd read an article on the gut being the second brain. And this article, it was way ahead of its time. And it makes so much sense now because now they talk about the HPA axis and the gut brain connection. And when you feel emotions, what do they say? It's your gut feeling. If you're nervous, you feel it there. So I hope American medical will come around with being more holistic because it's all connected. It's not just in your head. But even if it's in your head, so what? Because that's part of your body and it needs to be treated properly.
So let's
Um,
please stop doing gastric bypass, which I had and has created a ton of issues. You would never have some depression or some brain fog and be like, let's cut part of the brain off.
exactly. Oh my goodness, I know. Oh,
So you add a GLP-1, and did you come in thinking that the GLP-1 was going to do all the work, or did you come in thinking you were going to add some lifestyle, or what was your thought process?
for some reason it's hard to remember. So I had already been doing a lot of internal work with myself starting in October before then because I was like, I'm so sick of myself between seasonal depression and just negative thoughts and blaming, blaming, or even just criticizing myself so bad. I'm like, this could not be healthy. And I don't want to live like this anymore. So that was October 2023. Where I was like, I am changing myself. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just know that in a period of time after this, I do not want to be able to recognize myself physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And I feel like I've made a ton of progress. You know, s- like a side thought is that the glow up community, the whole idea of glowing up and self-improvement, that can be a trap because when are you ever like done? Whenever is it enough? Um, but where was I going with that thought? Just by the time I got on a GLP-1, I felt like I'd made a lot of progress mentally and emotionally. But being on the GLP-1 forced me to address other issues. Like what is your go-to if you no longer want food? If you're feeling a deep emotion, loneliness, abandonment, um, I don't know, maybe just like some sort of longing, a good a good treat or meal, whatever your favorite meal is, can make that feel so good, right? But usually that's better when it's shared with people and friends. But if that's your go-to, and then the GLP-1 doesn't even make you think about food when those emotions happen, I was completely blindsided by how much came to the surface. I was like, I'm crying a lot and letting things out. So journaling, um, writing stuff down, voice notes, typing it, just being more frank with people because you cannot hold too much negative emotion in. Obviously pick and choose your battles, but coming more authentically is something that I was like, I don't know if this is the GLP-1 or if it's, me trying to revamp myself, but um I apologize. You might have to edit that because I'm like losing my train of thought here.
It's all good. So prior to the GLP-1, you had been working on your thyroid. You had
Mhm.
been working on your mindset. You had
Mhm.
been working on the thought process that was happening. I have the same ones. I'm not
Yeah.
worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not working
Mhm.
hard enough. I'm not doing enough
Mhm.
for others, and leaving no room for myself. And then,
Mm-mm.
you know, trying and feeling bad if I do things for myself. And so
Yeah.
the glow up is a double-edged sword because it's like we do want to do stuff for ourselves, but we also still are here to serve other people, our families, our
Mhm.
friends, our communities,
Mhm.
our yeah, so it's a tough one.
Yeah,
So you come
boundaries.
into the GLP-1 and you were shocked about the emotional side. I
Mhm.
was too. I was identifying, I guess, as a chronic person who had to lose weight. What
Yeah.
if you don't have to
Yeah.
lose weight anymore? Like
Then what
that's
are you gonna do?
now what okay, cool. Like I'm a mom, I'm a
Mhm.
sister, I'm a wife, I'm a gives you space for that other thing, but it's also an adjustment to stop struggling with that. And I don't like the words self-sabotage, but I do feel like there were periods where I slowed everything down because I guess I was a little afraid of like I'll be done losing weight. Like what am I gonna
Yeah,
do with my
right.
life now?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
What if I
Yeah, the
actually
same.
succeed? It's like the fear of failure kept me from succeeding at certain times. But then taking a break from calorie deficit was a good thing. Did you
Yeah.
decide I'm going to track my food? I'm going to lift
Mhm.
weights, anything
Mhm.
lifestyle like that?
Yeah, I'd always been attracted to lifting weights. I've never enjoyed cardio. I've lifted weights. It never looked like I did, but I lifted weights for 10 plus years. So that wasn't foreign to me. It didn't make me uncomfortable. I loved it. I loved the feeling of it, of getting stronger. Um, but because I loved food so much, that layer of fat was always there. So it didn't always I had periods of time where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I look good there." And it feels uncomfortable to say that because isn't it weird how I don't know, do you ever feel like it's almost like we're supposed to be self-deprecating? Like if you actually like how you look, then you shouldn't say that, or you should like maybe put a little spin on it. But
Because someone
now
will find something wrong with that picture.
yeah, yeah. But it's okay to love yourself. It's okay and great for you to love how you look because you don't want to be stressed out. Our bodies are magnificent and, you know, dealing with a little bit of brain fog here. But anyway, so
I totally get it. So you tracked food.
track food,
Did you
but not
decide?
religiously.
Are
I was
you
not great at
aiming
it.
for protein? Are you
Mhm.
avoiding certain foods, or are you living your life? Like, how did you lose that weight?
In the beginning, I definitely was avoiding. So I went, I think, like a month with no alcohol, or I want to say it was like the month of August through September, no alcohol. And in looking back, that was when my face was the most slender. And even though I weighed more at that time than I did like even 6 months later, where I weighed the same, I looked bigger and puffier. So
Inflammation.
inflammation, yeah. And if you're not on top of it with taking your thyroid medication every day at the same time,
Do we need to pause?
yeah, just
Okay.
1 second. My son keeps coming in here. So I was avoiding alcohol. I was tracking, but I noticed I don't know, maybe I have ADHD, but being consistent with a routine I just forget. So I would track most of the time. I'd track for a little bit and then I wouldn't track. But in the beginning, I had to remember to eat because when you first start this GLP-1, I think is when it's its most effective as far as turning your brain off. Um, so initially, I was just, let me go to my notes. I was just dropping weight. I was trying to make sure I ate well, though. But it's funny, I'd start to eat or make a meal and I'd only be able to take a few bites. And that was so foreign to me, but it felt good to go your whole life with not having any control around food, especially sweets, to now being like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm fine." I remember thinking, "Is this how people who don't struggle with their weight are?" They're not even thinking about food. They take a few bites or even their favorite treat could be in front of them. And there were so many times where I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do love that," but I genuinely was like, "No, maybe maybe next time I'll take a bite, not right now." Like, I knew I loved it. I knew it was typically something that I would just be like, going crazy with. And to be able to not take a bite or take a bite and just be like, oh, I'm done. That was good. Maybe I'll have some more later was just mind blowing to me. I was like, this is how, because I would always admire thin women or a girlfriend who didn't talk about food all the time. I
Mhm.
always and I used to joke, or there was this comedian, I forget his name now, but he had this joke where someone said something to him about being hungry, and he's like, I haven't been hungry in years. He was like, I make sure I eat before that happens. And I
Yeah.
thought it was hysterical because it's like, what does being hungry have to do with it? Of course, I want to eat right now. Yeah, you made something delicious. I want to eat that. I want to try it. And so being more in tune with hunger, hunger's not a bad thing. It's your normal cue to fuel and nourish your body. And so the GLP-1 did that for me. But I wanted to answer your question about what I was doing in the beginning. It looks like I'm looking at my notes. I was dropping, say, I started May 13th, and that first week I dropped 5.2 pounds. Um, which, a lot of people will say, oh, it's just water weight. Well, that's great because when you're inflamed, you're carrying a lot of extra water weight. So sure, let's get rid of the inflammation. There's no shame in whatever they say is, oh, it's just water weight. So that's fine. Once we get rid of the extra water, then we'll get to the fat. I always hated that phrase. It's like, don't downplay people's progress because it is progress.
Feels good. Yeah.
It feels good. And fat loss is not the only thing to to measure progress. It can be water weight because you're getting rid of inflammation. It could be putting on muscle. There's just so many other things. So the month of May, let's see, was down 5, down 2.6, 2.6. So yeah, I was consistently losing average, I would say, of 2.5 pounds a week. The first, let's see, May, June, and July. And but I also tracked at that time um, my cycle, and I noticed that at the beginning of my cycle, no weight loss, but then the next week it might be down like 3 or 4 pounds. So knowing that can help get out of that rut of thinking, "Oh, I haven't made any progress this week." It's hard. I know it's hard. I'm not saying it isn't, but you have to take a longer range view because your body will catch up. And what else is your body trying to tell you? Because if you go, let's say you're in a deficit and you're doing all the right things and maybe you go up, for me, that tells me I ate something that my body didn't like. Or I'll think, "Oh, well, I did have sugar last night," or "I did have an alcoholic drink last night." So I'm up, but that's because my body's like, "Girl, don't eat that. You're inflamed today." And so they've got the extra water weight.
Mhm. Um, so did you focus on any protein? Did you get good protein in or not really?
I did in the beginning. I was really trying to focus on protein, but after a while, it kind of stressed me out because there's so much information about how much protein. You have nutritionists from a nutritionist perspective, they're like, you only need 60 to 80 grams a day. And I'm like, okay, but I'm coming from a history of doing some sort of bodybuilding, program, and they're telling me a a gram per pound. It's like, well, honey, I'm 180 pounds. I'm not eating 180 grams of protein. That's difficult. So I went back and forth. I would be like, okay, I'm going to focus on protein. I'm going to hit my macros. And then I hit them and it's hard, and it's like, okay, but I'm trying to get out of this mindset of, I don't know, not maybe not stressing about what I'm eating, but again, being so dogmatic. Oh, well, I didn't hit my 130, because that would send me into a spiral of, let's say your goal is 130 grams of protein. And then I'm like thinking about, oh, but I only got 120. I messed up. I should have did better. So it sends me personally, into this kind of like spiral of like perfectionism, and it wasn't doing me any good. So I want to say within probably 3 months, I was not hitting macros like I should have. So sometimes I would track it for information reasons, and sometimes I would do it because I'm trying to hit a high protein goal. But I want to say I probably averaged 60 to 80 grams of protein during that whole time.
Oh, you
Um,
ate protein, so you weren't just
oh
eating
yeah.
you weren't just eating, bread and donuts and pasta.
No, no, because I'm not really a donuts and pasta type person. I mean, I love it, I'll eat it, but I don't wake up thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make this big plate of pasta or anything, or I wanna go to Olive Garden." So we weren't really a fast food family to begin with. If we did, so there's I don't know if you've heard of Taco Time. I think it's only here in Washington State. But
It
for
sounds
my husband.
amazing.
Yeah. So, if I did it, it would just be a normal meal, and maybe not even the little Mexi fried tater tots that come with it. It would be like just the burrito or just a couple tacos. And so it's funny because when you eat stuff, there's still always this little voice in your head like, should you be eating that? Is that too much? Does this fit your macros? So this voice was always in my head, and it still is sometimes, but I had to override it with, okay, well, let's just be reasonable. Let's look at the calories. And it's like, 3 or 400 calories, maybe 5 or 600. That's not bad for one meal if you're only eating a couple times a day. But yeah, I ate protein. I ate meat. My husband would grill a ribeye and just bring me like a whole plate of ribeye and a side of vegetables. And I would be so hungry, and I'm like, yes, I want a steak. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna make this big old steak. Are you sure you're gonna eat it all? Became the new joke. And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. 2 bites in. 4 bites
Yeah.
in. I was like, "I can't help it. It's just I'm good. I'm satisfied, but, keep it because 'cause I'll eat it again later." Oh, yeah, but I ate meat. I ate all of that. Um, every once in a while would go like, if I'm short on time and the kids are hungry, I might go through McDonald's, but I would just get fries. I've never really been like a fast food cheeseburger type person. So, with GLP-1, I know there's been criticism of people where they tell them, "Oh, it's not the magic bullet. You can't just keep eating the same food." And some people will lose weight eating fast food all the time. And that's not really for us to judge. I think if someone's having a large amount of what's wrong or not the greatest food, even by cutting that down by 30% or 50% is a benefit. But it's a process. People have to change their palate. You get a palate for fast food, and then it's not until you've consistently eaten something more healthy that all of a sudden maybe the fast food doesn't taste as good. So I wouldn't say that someone should continue to eat fast food, but baby steps, basically. Like always
I
adding in
order
something.
When I go to McDonald's, I order just the quarter pounder patties and 2 slices of
Uh-huh.
cheese.
See, and yeah, and you could do that like without the
But
bread.
we don't eat there much because it's expensive.
Oh, I know. Yeah, 4
Yeah.
people at even Chick-fil-A is like $60.
You bring up two really good points. Number one, people are on a journey and they are often craving certain things for certain actual physiological reason, not because they're
Yeah.
lazy, gluttonous, and stupid. It's because they're very
Mhm.
low energy. Their body isn't converting their fuel into energy. Instead, it's converting
Mhm.
it into fat, in which we have to, as a tired person not getting energy, now carry that fat around. So our
Yeah.
body and our brain is constantly craving quick energy.
Yeah,
Quick, and,
which
and
is
it's
carbs.
pretty much the brain is being told you're hungry, you're hungry, you're hungry. I need energy, I need energy, I need energy. And it never stops. And so that's where the cravings for the quick energy come. And then the
Mhm.
fatigue because your body's not producing energy. So if we could give people grace as they start to lose weight, and
Mhm.
hopefully they see, oh, I look like a shriveled raisin and I don't like this isn't what I was going for, then they start
Mhm.
realizing maybe I should lift some weights. And as
Mhm.
their weight comes off, maybe I should do this or that. But it has to be a slow change because when we make 100 million quick changes, it's not sustainable. It's not
Right.
sustainable to turn your life over in one night. And I do absolutely see people who are starting to feel better finally have the confidence and the
Mhm.
momentum to make changes. So I love that point
Yeah.
that you brought up. Point number two, this isn't what I started coming out with when I first started talking about GLP-1s. I said, let's go low and slow. Be sure you can always eat. But there is something healing to giving a person who's felt like they were starving their whole life to give them a vacation for a second.
Mhm. That's
Like,
what it felt like.
give you a vacation from inappropriate hunger so you can sit back for a second and reanalyze what is appropriate hunger and find
Mhm.
that spot. Of course, we don't want to stay in vacation mode forever because you'll lose your muscle, your hair, your metabolism, your
Yeah.
hormones, and your thyroid. But to take a temporary break, a little vacation from incessant hunger that you've had forever, I find it very healing. So
Mhm.
I'm no longer against a hunger vacation when you've been essentially in like hunger hell for who knows how long. And
Yeah.
I think it gives you the break to reanalyze and come back forward to actually answering what is healthy hunger and then
Mhm.
moving forward and finding the right spot for you. Unless you acclimate to your dose and it comes anyway, and then you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened to me. So I finally went up to 6 milligrams like 2 months ago. But I mean, I stayed on 5 milligrams for over a year and lost most of the weight. I would like to lose another 10 or 20 pounds, simply because of the way I carry my weight. So I carry it all, I want to say, from my shoulders to my waist. And so um, I want to, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So it's like, I think my last video I posted, I said, "Oh, I'm back in and I'm gonna start posting weekly and I wanna lose this last bit of weight." But in reality, in daily life, it's been a little bit difficult, and I'm like, "I don't wanna go back to that stress of, like, how am I gonna fit this in? And, oh, I need to do this, and, oh, I need to do that." I just don't wanna do that anymore.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar issue, and I understand everybody online can see me from the chest up, which is where I lost my weight, but I
You
do
look
have a big
great.
thank you. And I'm not going to complain. I mean, I have a healthy mindset that hey, you look so much better than you did, but I'm still
Mhm.
wearing, size 8 pants, and so there is some weight in the waist and down that could go, but when I go after it, this unhealthy mindset starts kicking
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
so I'm just waiting around and just deciding maybe I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. And you know what? This is a whole lot better
Like your
than my
set point.
highest was 330. My highest was 330.
Mhm.
Every, biggest loser, I got down to 165.
Oh my goodness,
Gastric
that is
bypass,
tiny.
165. And carnivore, 165. But my body always fought at that set point, and now I'm closer to 139. So I beat
Wow.
my set point. So I should be happy. Tell me where you started, where you are, where you got to, and how
Yeah.
that all works, because one of the things I've loved about your videos is your healthy mindset around the real goal. Some people would probably I don't remember if it's they would tell you to have more or less, but the way that you're going about your goal has much more to do with muscle body tone
Mhm.
and that than it has to do with the number on the scale.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just remembered that I had not done the update on my DEXA scan that was at the end of August. It's September or October now, like, the time is going by so fast. So that
Posting
DEXA would have
videos is a pain in the butt, people don't realize.
I know, I'm like, "How do these amazing YouTubers do it?" They must just be consumed
They
or
hire
they
people.
yeah, they have to because I don't even work full time, but I do work 5 nights a week. So it's not 40 hours a week, but it's still the number of days between that. I have a kid in elementary, a kid in high school. Um, Up until recently, me and my husband was like on an opposite work schedule. I mean, we have Bible study twice a week. I was just like, what? I
Mhm.
don't, I
They
want
don't
to
have
be
kids,
consistent.
they're hiring someone. They
Something. I do.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I want to be consistent. I want to be the person like every Tuesday morning, their video is up. And it was easy in the beginning because something was happening every week. It's like, "Oh, I'm down 2 pounds. I'm down 3 pounds." It was super exciting in the beginning. Now I've had this YouTube channel for over a year, and it like 6 months ago, I was inconsistent with posting, but that's more of just me feeling like, I don't have anything to tell them, so, why get on there and bore them to death? But, back your original question, I wanted to ask you too. Oh, first of all, how tall are you?
At 4.
Okay, yeah, we're almost the same height.
I know my goal is lower than what you talk about, but that's specifically why I like your goal because you're talking about your muscle composition. So
Mhm.
I'm still technically 27% fat
That's
or
awesome
20,
though.
25 to 27. And
Yeah.
like your dream bod could be 20 to 22.
Y
You know,
We'd be looking like track stars.
Exactly. And I never have in my life. So that's another piece of it is that, when I was in middle school, I was 165. So I've
Okay.
never not been um chunky. I've never not been. So it'd be kind of cool to be actually like, but
You
then
look
again,
tiny to
I
me, you look great.
thank you. This is part of the thing I need to heal.
That's what I'm saying, like, we've made so much progress and we can celebrate in that, but if they are really treating GLP-1 or they're treating it as obesity is a disease, then sometimes it's a lingering part of the disease that we're battling, the mental aspect of it, and that's okay. So, I started at 207. Let's see. Well, the day I started, I was 204.6, but just a couple weeks before that, I was 207 because my highest of 2024 was 207.2. Um, and I remember thinking, okay, before I start this GLP-1, let me try one more time by myself. And you go a whole month white knuckling it to lose 2 pounds and be just like completely overwhelmed and defeated. It's like, that's not sustainable, really. I mean, yes, slow is good, but if you don't even have the energy to go into the second month and to continue to do it day in and day out because you're battling your mind, you're not actually battling the food or the gut. Um, it's just not sustainable. So May 13th of last year, I was 204.6, and it took until October 21st, the week of October 21st, no, I apologize. The week of October 7th, I hit 169.6. So this same time last year, I got into the 160s. And so what I did is even though I weighed myself every day for the first, I would say 4 to 6 months of this process, I only went with the lowest weight for the week. So that's the thing is, generally we're scared of the scale because it goes like this, right? And then your whole self-esteem and outlook on the day is either good or ruined by what that scale says. But I used Happy Scale, which it's just a data point. That's why I kept telling myself it's just a data point. And the awesome thing is like I was always trending downwards, always. Um, Even if it was up and I'm like, man, what the heck happened? The low for the week was always lower than the prior week. So it's like, okay, well, then we're heading in the right direction. So I wasn't consistently in the 160s until, yeah, I guess end of October. And I stayed that way for the rest of the year, all the way through till April, end of April this year. So get this, I had to take a round of antibiotics in
Mm.
May, mid-May, and was never pretty much in the 160s ever again. And after I took those antibiotics, May 12th, so we're looking at 5 months ago, it was bizarre. I was taking my 5 milligrams, and mentally, I was like, "I want, like, shots of tequila. I want cake. I want cookie." The sugar cravings, and it was only a 3-day round of antibiotics, and I already knew what antibiotics do to you because the last time I took them was, like, in 2012, 2013, when my body turned, like, hot and black and was oozing, and I did not wanna take them, but I had to take the antibiotics a few months ago, and I was just like, "Oh, great." And I don't even know why I asked the provider. I was like, "Well, I should probably do probiotics after this," and they're like, "Oh, no, you'll be fine," or something like that. And I just knew it. I knew it was from those antibiotics. And so the sugar and carb cravings just went bonkers. Um, and so, January I was 161 as a low. I fluctuate a few pounds all the time. And I think that's because of my thyroid. Because a lot of people, I talk to some women and they kind of are the same weight every single day. It might go up or down because of their cycle, but mine can fluctuate 10 pounds in a week. And I don't know if that's inflammation from my thyroid or what. So May 12th took the antibiotics. shot up into the 170s and kind of just stayed there. I mean, even got as high as 184 the week of July 14th. 184, Adrian. I was just like, what? My legs were swollen. Oh, go ahead. Has that happened to you? Did you take antibiotics?
My lowest was 131, and then I added carbs back. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna say that I got glycogen in my muscle
Oh,
because
okay.
I went up in weight to closer to the 137, and I was like, okay, whatever, who cares? Because I maintained 137, 137.
Yeah.
Then I added a supplement called DIM, and I
Oh,
have it right
yes.
here to
Dim is
remember.
good.
And it's great because it's giving my life back. But the week after I took this, I shot up to 143, and it shot up so
What?
quickly. And I think it's the hormones just so now I'm 139, but
Yeah.
the thing is that it just goes to show there's so many factors that weigh in on your weight.
Yes.
And we have to take them into account. And then what I have to do is not freak out and start calorie restriction and exercising. Like
Right.
in my weight loss, I was walking 12 miles a day and lifting in the beginning.
I
I had to
saw
slow that
that
down
in your
because I
email.
was
I was
losing too
like,
much weight. Yeah.
oh my
So
God.
this is a little bit of a healing of Adrian. I know I have glycogen because I had another body scan, and despite not consistently lifting, like lifting once every week or two, it said
Okay.
that I gained 5 pounds of muscle. So that's
Oh my
glycogen.
goodness.
Because I
Oh,
was
okay.
carnivore so long, I had probably no glycogen or very, very, very minimal glycogen. You add some carbs like bananas, potatoes, and rice, which I used to say were
Yeah.
like Satan or something. And now it turns out your
Yeah.
body can handle them if your blood sugar regulations, blah, blah. So mine is hormones and adding carbs back. But I still am back in the 130s. I'm gonna keep watching it and keep whatever. For you, it's the antibiotics, and you are not the first
Yeah.
person to say that story. It just
Yes.
goes to show how much the signaling to the brain and the signaling to the pancreas is
Mhm.
affected by the gut bugs.
I know. I know. And gut bugs is the exact phrase my naturopath would use. And I have so many protocols. I should go through my files and probably find one of the protocols that she gave me that I probably didn't buy the supplement or follow it for very long. But um, I feel
Keep
like I
doing the
leveled out.
GLP-1.
Mhm.
Overall, the GLP-1 can slowly, it reduces the inflammation on your gut. And then when your gut's
Right.
not inflamed, it can slowly start balancing itself out. So I noticed if I ate some cheese in the beginning of my journey, I still bloated up, but 6 months in,
Okay.
I no longer did. So it took
Right.
time for my body to be able to eat those foods again. It took time to heal the gut. But
Yeah, you
I
can use
wonder,
this GLP-1 to heal your gut. And so I have L-glutamine powder in the pantry, which a couple weeks ago I was taking it every day because I was like, okay, I'm having reactions to food, which stress plays a huge role, but also leaky gut, just stuff getting into your bloodstream that shouldn't. And so I was like, let me get back on the L-glutamine. I'm just gonna have to white knuckle it and get off of like alcohol and sugar. Um, I only lasted like 2 weeks though. So I don't know how I'm going to have to struggle with those cravings, especially going into this dark, rainy period. But I gotta figure it out because I just refuse to go back to
there's so many parallels. I live in Duluth,
yeah.
Minnesota, which is right next to
Okay.
Canada, and we're in the middle of
Yes.
the country. And so it is cloudy, rainy, and
Yeah.
cold every day.
Yeah.
Like we get
Yeah.
like 10 days of sun a year.
Oh my, even in the summer?
Yeah, even in the summer, it's for some, it's like we live on the tip of Lake Superior. And so when
Okay.
the weather hits here, it turns into
Yeah.
clouds or something. And
Yes.
so it's cloudy here all the time.
Oh, I
So
know. I know.
so many
This year
parallels.
was mhm.
I like what you were saying though. GLP-1 alone doesn't need to heal your gut. You should do the other things so it happens quicker and faster and better
Yeah,
and stronger, and you're not suffering forever. So if you've got
exactly.
things that help mend that gut back up, absolutely do
Exactly. And
them.
it's so easy. I mean, think of it. Any of us who have started this GLP-1, we had a certain way of life for decades leading up to this. So it's very easy to slip back into your old ways despite the GLP-1, and you may surprise yourself with having to be like, "Okay, here we go again. Now I gotta try and turn this around." And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So maybe it's a little bit of embarrassment that I haven't given any updates or posted because I'm like, I'm not right with myself. I'm not saying it's not dramatic like I'm how I used to be, but I don't feel as confident as I did 6 months ago in the sense of like, okay, I have a grip on this. And it's a thin line with being completely honest and upfront because I think there's a trap with YouTubers or anyone online. Oh, they're having so much success. But then if they are honest and they're like, well, hold on, I kind of messed up and I'm at this point, it's kind of like, oh, well, she is not under control. So maybe let me maybe, look at somebody else. Um, but it's so important to just be real, especially if you are married with kids, like you can only do so much,
This is
and
the
you
exact
don't wanna
time
lose
you
your
should be
joy.
recording. And I'm looking myself in the mirror as I
Yeah.
haven't talked about these things I've been struggling with for a few months because
Mhm.
that's real. And so then people are left out there thinking, well, I'm not good enough. That YouTuber, they stayed on it, they da da. But in reality, real life happens to all of us. So absolutely get out there
Yeah.
and share. Another thing that I heard you say was that you hadn't taken a shot in like 6 weeks. And part of my thing is I
Mhm.
just got lazy. I don't know
Yeah.
why. There's no rhyme or reason. I just started spreading my shots out of 8 to 14 days. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And so no wonder my inflammation came back.
Mhm.
So I'm only now getting back into, okay, my schedule where I feel great is every 5 days.
Oh,
That's
good.
that's where I feel great is every 5 days. I'm slow to get it in the system and I'm quick to get it out. And so I was being left with like 4 days where I felt nothing when I did 7. So 5 is
Mhm.
perfect for me. So I really just need to get back on that and watch the
Yeah.
inflammation melt back off. I'm wondering how much of yours is inflammation.
Probably a lot because I surprised myself with how much I was drinking alcohol again. And not to sound like a lush, because I bring up alcohol way more than I actually drink it. But I think because it kind of bothers me.
It's
I'm not
bothering
out
you.
here.
That's like
Yeah.
I ate a potato yesterday. Did you hear that I ate a potato yesterday? Oh my gosh, I ate a potato yesterday.
Yes,
I mean, it was
exactly.
the first potato in a month, but it's ugh, the
Yeah.
potato.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got a
I know.
potato problem. I do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's not like um I'm not out here buying bottles of wine even every couple days. Like, it's probably actually been a month now since I bought a bottle of wine. But I think because I want to control that more, I end up talking about it a lot. And I feel like I brought it up so much on my YouTube videos. I'm like, they're gonna think I'm out here just like day drinking and pouring 3 drinks every night. But I'm not. In Washington State, the liquor tax is so high you won't even drink because a $30 bottle of liquor ends up being like $50 at checkout because of taxes. Yeah. It's really bad here. But the alcohol messes with your gut. You wake up inflamed, like your face is puffy. Um, so I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you too, what is we were talking about something a few minutes ago, and I think it had to do with progress or what we're eating. Have you noticed the difference with your cravings if you just go back to baseline? Like, have I slept enough? Have I drank enough water?
That's really interesting. I have really good appetite control, which was another reason that I was slowing down.
Okay.
Because it's almost like and people had warned me this would happen, but I didn't believe them. I was like, "That's crazy." That you almost get sick of having full appetite control because you like you like coping with food. You like
Mhm.
and so I was slowing down. So one thing I want to be honest about, I take tirzepatide. I also take cagrilintide,
Oh,
and
okay.
sometimes I take a microdose of, we'll call it GOP3 because you're not supposed to say the word or whatever.
What letter
So
are you allowed to say what letter it starts with?
rhymes with creditrutide.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess everything ends with tide, so I don't know if that helps.
Yeah.
The newest one. But to be clear, I am not taking full doses of any
Mhm.
of them. I'm taking bitty, bitty doses of the other two. So between the three, I have just full control. And so previously, when I
Wow.
was just on trizepatide, I could not eat a banana. A banana would trigger like, where's the berries? Where's the bread? Where's the, it
Oh,
would just
all of
like go
your
on and on.
toxins.
But if
Mhm.
I added a touch, just a like literal microdose of the other two, now it's like I could take a bite of banana and forget about it. So the
Oh, so
appetite
that
control
type of
has been
control.
phenomenal to be able to add foods back for the first time in my life. There's other things too, though. When I first added them back, I did not have peace. I did not have control. But I wonder if since my body has had enough of it, where it was deprived of it before, where
Mhm,
it's like my body is like, okay, well, we already had that. So we're
mhm.
good. So there's a
Yeah,
couple things going on there.
yeah.
Y-
Yeah, it's quite a ride. I just can't even believe that it's been close to a year and a half since I even started. So, on the one hand, I have to battle feelings of being upset that I'm consistently in the 170s. Now, in August, so like 6 weeks ago, I got back down to I had a low of 167 the week of August 25th, so not even 2 months ago. But but the whole time that was just like one low that I hit. Who knows? Maybe I was dehydrated because I always was like 168 to 173. That 5 pound spread was just always there. And I'm thinking, have I hit is this where my body wants to be is like 170? If that's the case, why was I 161 in January in the middle of the dark, in the middle of the darkness and coldness here? So I really don't know. It's hard to say, especially, you how many kids? You have 4 kids, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And you're running this social media business, you're married. It's like you blink and 6 months goes by and you're just like, that happened to me. I was like, "How did I let 6 months go by and I haven't had a DEXA scan?" And I was obsessed with them 6 months ago. Like, I don't know. It just
I was
happens.
just going to say, you should join us at Radically Healthy because we have some ideas of how to break the stall. We have some really good ideas. Like
Thank
one of them
you.
involves, are you on BHRT? Have you looked into the hormones? And then another one
Okay.
is talking about some of the other peptides that can open up pathways to your brain and get that metabolism moving again. And then there's some
I need that.
mitochondrial things too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's some
definitely
great
need
things.
that.
Why am I not using them on myself? I actually stripped everything away to try this dim and I wanted to know how my body reacted to it. So I stripped everything away. And when I'm
Yeah.
ready, I will add a few things back if I want to move the needle, if it bothers me that much.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I
I
guess
know
it
I would love
doesn't.
to be like 150, 155 even, just because of I've always been that. So, for example, my sister and I are the same height. She's 6 years younger than me.
And you're 5 foot
Um,
6,
5'5".
5 foot 5. Okay.
Mhm, 5'5". And I've always there's been so many times throughout our lives from our teens, 20s, 30s, and now, I'm 42. She's in her mid to late 30s, where we wear the same size clothes, but I'm 20 pounds more than her. So
Hmm.
that is something sometimes I'm proud of it, sometimes it irritates me because it's like, well, we grew up during a time of 17 magazine, all the teen magazines and certain body types and aesthetics were completely idolized. Like that was the look. And it sad, very sad. So it's really cool to be old enough to remember that time period, but young enough to still see some of these young girls on social media. And I'm like, I'm so happy for them because the internet and social media is a two-edged sword. It can be detrimental or it can be a help. But now women are learning so much about our bodies and so much about what true health looks like. And now the athletic body type, girls that are lifting super heavy is the cool thing. But still, I feel like that's way better than, the Kate Moss and the Twiggy. Hold on, let me rephrase that so it doesn't come off the wrong way. The the desire to
Just say it,
be
Skeletor.
now
I don't know if
some
that's what
girls.
you're going for, but like Skeletor is not cool. But I find myself every day in the mirror clenching my butt cheeks, like, how round can I get this thing, you know?
Right, I know now I'm mad because I don't have you wanna build a dump truck or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, you got to have curves and muscle now. And that's
Yes,
great. That's way
yeah,
healthier. That's hormone health. That's longevity,
and
yeah, we
metabolism.
go for a way better look now. Yeah.
Exactly, but I just couldn't understand it. I was like, "We have the same parents. Why am I 20 pounds more than my sister consistently?" Consistently, and so she was like, "You just have more muscle," and I'm like, "Really? 20 pounds of muscle? Like, how?"
But then you got a DEXA scan and you do have
Now
a
I
lot
know
of
why.
muscle.
Now I know why. Now I know why. So, now it's almost kinda like me and my muscle, I'm very attached to it. So the last DEXA scan, I lost muscle, Adrian, and I don't know why. And I was just like, "Oh, my dear muscle." Like, I want it back.
We harp on this, harp on this, harp on this, and the truth is that there are some things we can't control. We can only do the best we can to preserve it
Mhm.
by doing some lifting, but also
Yeah.
stress. You can lose muscle being too
Really?
stressed.
I had
You
no
can,
idea.
with the cortisol and all of that, it can turn your metabolism down and cause conversion. And we don't get to pick. We can only try to eat protein, try to eat complete protein like meat,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
do some lifting, but also not burn ourselves out because that can,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't get to
I
pick.
know.
We can only do the
And
best we can.
right, just to set the foundation, to make sure the ingredients for the recipe are there, but kinda like how it turns out, we're not really in control of, but we can at least increase the chances. But it's you said stress. What should I research on that? Stress and muscle loss?
Yeah, so they're talking about things like if you cold plunge every day, it's a stress on your body, which can downregulate your metabolism, signal to your
Okay.
body that there's too much stress going on. The stress hormones have a access, the adrenal axis that has an effect on your thyroid. And when we knock that off balance, that can turn into downregulating the metabolism. I'd have to look to be more specific, but I definitely believe that stress plays a part in your muscle retention. Your sex hormones play a huge part in
Okay.
your muscle retention, and if you're overly stressed, then you can stop converting cholesterol into sex hormones, and your sex hormones are
Mm.
low. Now you're having a tough time maintaining muscle. There's so many
Oh,
things.
man. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I would love to
Well,
give people this perfect piece. And I think overall, if people are eating a lot of meat and they are consistently lifting, and we're not talking 2 hours a day, we're talking just, 40 minutes 3 times a week, 30 minutes 3 times a week. If you're consistent listening, you can definitely maintain your muscle. I mean, it's really likely that if
it
you're doing the right
yeah,
recipe, you can maintain it, but we don't get to pick. So we really,
yeah.
especially the older we get, but that must be another reason I loved your channel. I'm 41. You know,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so many things. So I have to wrap this one up. I could talk with you
Okay.
literally all day and night, which
Me
is why
too.
I love your channel. So where can people find you? And maybe one day you'll start posting again. But even if you don't, the videos that you have out there are absolutely amazing for having a realistic mindset, working on things, the realistic of setting your goal, the
Mhm.
realisticness of making lifestyle changes, but also being a human being. I love your
Mhm.
channel. So where can people
Oh,
find you?
good. On Becoming Bianca on YouTube is where I post. I shut down the Instagram account because it was too many different, places to update. So I stick with YouTube because I love the algorithm. It's easy to find people, and it's easy to keep in touch with like the same group of people on this subject. So on YouTube is where I'm at.
I so appreciate you guys coming on. Please go out and subscribe to Ebony, and please like, subscribe, and share this interview so more people can hear
Yeah,
this great
I'm
story and
excited.
keep on keeping on. So thank you guys for
Okay.
tuning in.
All
Goodbye.
right. Bye.